go. I love my mommy. Hey guys, this is Tarot at the Table, where I pull some tarot cards and then we just talk about it just like a normal conversation. So the first card that I pulled out, I'm going to pull out some more, but this first card that I pulled out is completion. So we're going to talk about this a little bit and then pull some more cards. This is actually an oracle card. So completion. When I read about this in the book, it was basically just talking about something coming to an end, cycles coming to an end. So that's what this card is about in the book. But when I see this card, I do think about cycles, but in the sense that completing cycles is very important. I feel like for me, there's been times where I start something for myself and I don't finish it, and then it kind of comes back around multiple times until I finish it. Whether that be a behavior pattern that I'm trying to adopt, a characteristic that I'm trying to adopt, a belief that I'm trying to adopt, or like a project that I'm trying to finish. Either way, if you don't complete that cycle or that thing that you're trying to complete, it leaves room for it to be brought back into your life until you finish it. Same goes for a lesson in your life. If you go through a lesson but you don't really complete that lesson, or you don't grasp on to what that was supposed to be teaching you, it'll keep coming back over and over until you learn what that was about. So I think it's very important to complete the things that you start, because if not, you leave that opportunity for it to come back into your life until you finish it, over and over until you finish it. So completion, completing cycles is important. Completing projects. When you say you're gonna do something, when you set your mind out to do something, do it. If it's not for you, then you learn something from it. And if it is, it'll lead you to happiness or success or whatever it is that you're trying to go after with that thing, with that idea or project or behavior that you were starting. So that's completion. Very important. Yeah. And then it could also be coming out to say that whatever you are starting, complete it. You need to complete it because it's going to lead to some good stuff. Not right now. But I could spread some of my knowledge and wisdom. Oh wow, that's actually okay. So this is a devil card in the tarot. People get scared by this, but this is about cycles ending. This is about, so it's really funny that it came out with completion. It makes sense. This is representing like, oh, I'm sorry, no, that's the death card. This is the devil card. I'm so sorry. The devil card. Let me look into it. I know this is about like temptations and stuff. So this could be talking about like tempting to go back to old ways, tempting to not complete something. If you're used to not completing cycles, starting something and dropping it off, this is like that temptation to do it. Okay, so let's look more into the meaning so I can get more information. Ending the cycle of certain behavioral patterns, manipulative behaviors, using your power over more vulnerable people. If you're like have more like some psychic abilities or clairvoyant, like you kind of know what's gonna happen before it happens, whether you get a vision or just a sense. Making sure that you're using your power for good. Completing the cycles of trying to change certain behaviors. When you start that journey, you shouldn't stop it, because it's just going to lead to the same things over and over again. So this right here is talking about, for some of you, you are needing to complete the cycle of changing your behavior patterns. Okay, so let's see what else comes out. What else? But the devil's card in general is talking about temptation. So yeah, temptation to go back to old ways. Temptation not to complete something that you started. Yeah, so that's that. So completing cycles are important. It's important. Okay, we got the Knave of Cups, or the Knight of Cups. So I'm gonna look into the book about what this is about, and then look more, and I'm gonna talk about it. The fan is on, so I'm hoping it doesn't fall, but if it does, don't be scared. It's just the one. Knave of Chalices. Okay. Oh, that's the queen. Sorry. Knave of Chalices. Water symbolizes. There's a fountain in here. Water symbolizes emotion. You can be a water sign. Very much at home. The magnificent waterfall is his heart overflowing with love. His desires have the power to change the landscape and move anything in their path. Those who would travel his path alongside him, whether in romance or another type of quest, need to be willing to give as much in return. So I feel like this is about your willpower. Willpower to overcome the temptation of not completing what you start. That's a good message. Willpower to not be tempted to go back to the old behaviors. Willpower to overcome temptations to go back to old behaviors and finish what you're starting. And this is, well, it was saying something about like people who are with you to be giving you as much as you're giving them. Maybe for some of you, a behavior or pattern that you have is you give too much. So you need to have some kind of boundaries. That might just be for like one or two of you. But I think this is mostly talking about the willpower. This is about the willpower to overcome temptation and complete what you start. Do not be tempted to go back to the old. Well, I mean, of course you're going to be tempted when you're trying to make a big change or any kind of shift in your normal. There's going to be temptation and to go back to the old behavior or the old way or to give up. But yeah, don't do that. So willpower, have the willpower to complete what you start. And that wasn't the moon, but that was there was a moon in that card. Okay, 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands, some staffs. Wands, 10 Wands. Okay, and this side. This card is a sure sign that you have taken on too much, and that is a way taking on the burden of everyone and everything. Some of you might be light workers thinking you have to save the world. I'm not sure how that ties into completion. Maybe changing the behavior pattern that you have with taking on everything and everyone, and feeling like you have to like take care of everybody and fix everything. Maybe that could be saying that, but I think this is more about this card, because at the end of this meaning in the book, it was talking about others around you having to give as much as you give, and then this time they'll have taken the burden. So for some of you, the cycle that you need to complete is taking on everything. It could be responsibilities of your entire family. Maybe you're taking on the responsibility of making everybody around you happy, and this is about like having to complete that cycle and change that behavior, to change that mindset, that belief that you have to take care of everything, because everything isn't on you, and it's like this person's like making everything on them. It doesn't have to be. So that's what this is saying right here. Are they watching this? He's looking at the camera. Okay. I remember Soul Pain, the Fated versus the Destiny Life. Yeah, so this card is basically about choosing or going with like destiny. It's like how the universe works. It's like it works both ways. Like, yes, we choose our path, we have free will, but it's also like there's so many paths that you can take. Like, depending on what you say yes to, that's gonna be your routes. Okay, it's like if I didn't choose to do this video, but I chose to watch TV, that's me saying yes to that path. But then there was this version of me that chose to do this instead, so now I'm going this route. Whatever you were saying yes to, you were creating that fate. You're creating that timeline to continue. So it's like it becomes our destiny through saying yes. Well, yeah, okay, so the destiny life is the one our soul chooses. The fated life is the one we were born into. So we're born into this fate, but we're still choosing what's happening, if that makes sense. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which way you're gonna go. B leads to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F leads to 10, 9, 11, 12, whatever. I'm not sure if that makes sense for some of y'all. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. Courage and faith to complete certain cycles, courage and faith to complete certain behavioral patterns, and then move on. To complete it and then move on. So that's what this is talking about. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life. So what I am choosing to is to complete certain cycles instead of just doing the same cycles over and over and over again. I'm choosing to complete that cycle and move forward. So I think that what this card is talking about is just saying to remember that you were born into a certain life, but now you have to choose if you want to complete those cycles and complete what you started and continue. So I think this is a timing of, if you're watching this, it's basically like now is the time for you to be choosing to complete certain things in your life, ending cycles, moving on to something better. So yeah, so that's it for completion. That's my baby. Okay, had to do a diaper change. Healing. So when you heal yourself, you help heal others. 2 ways. So the first way, you want to hold the card? So the first way that you help heal others is by, when you go through things, you end up coming across someone who's been through the similar thing, and you can share with them how you got through it, and it can help them, and then it goes on and they can pass it to someone else. So that's one way that healing helps the collective. The other way is energetically. When you raise your vibration, when you heal and you raise your vibration, you're more happy, more positive, have a better understanding, a wider perspective. You are helping raise the vibration of the collective because we are all one. So it's like a roller coaster. Each seat is kind of at their own level, but it's like when it's up, then we all come up. So started from the bottom, now we're here, basically. He is having a moment. So basically, that was healing. The book talks about focusing on your healing abilities. So some of you could be... Okay, so that was healing. The book talks about focusing on healing abilities. So some of you could be seeing this message at a time in your life where you feel like you're supposed to be helping heal the planet in some way. And this card is basically saying to focus on that because that is what you're supposed to do. It doesn't have to become your full-time job if you're not like ready for it. It could just start off practicing and see and learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can about it. So that was that card. I don't think that... I think that's it for healing, and let's move on and see what other cards I could pull for us. So, taking care of yourself, making sure that everything's aligned. And love, it brings about love. It's a rebirth. When you heal yourself, you're rebirthing yourself. Let's look into rebirth, actually. I think there might be a message in there. I love seeing rebirth. It's, transformation, transition. The result is significant personal growth. Working on yourself first is very important because once you do that, then you help everybody else. Even if your calling isn't to do healing, still, when you bring your vibration up, you're helping everyone, especially because people can look at you as an example, see what you've been through, and get inspired. Okay, so right now you've entered a period to where you can rebirth yourself and an opportunity to align with your higher self. So healing is going to be very important for you because it's going to bring about a time where you're going to be in the vibration to connect with your higher self, and that will lead you to the path that's going to bring you the most happiness, the most success, the most like satisfaction with your life. Anything else that needs to be talked about? Any kind of advice or anything? You got a good thing going, okay? Don't mess that up. So whatever road you guys are headed, whatever you're trying to complete, whatever cycles are ending, trust that process. Don't be tempted. I mean, you're going to be tempted to go back to the old ways because the universe tests you to see if you're really ready, if that's really what you want. if you're really gonna follow through and put your side of it in, like if you're gonna do your part and put effort into it. So the universe will test you, but you know, since you are where you are because that's where you're supposed to be headed, if that makes sense. So trust that and don't think that you're supposed to go back to your old ways, because you're not. You're on the way to becoming your highest self, the highest that you can be on this planet. So just trust that. Be grateful. Make sure that you're expressing gratitude, because things can be worse. So whenever you're at a point where you feel like things aren't working out how you want them to, when you want them to, be grateful for where you are, because it's better than where you were when you were in that old mindset, or when you were in that old situation or that last situation. I'm trying to connect the dots for some of you who might understand what I'm saying. Just be grateful for where you are, because where you were was worse in a sense. Not saying that, you know, like move on. Okay, move on. Okay, maybe you guys understand what I'm saying. But yeah, just be grateful. Express gratitude. It opens up the doors for better things. When you're grateful for where you are, the universe is seeing like, okay, they're grateful for what they have. They're ready to accept this new thing. And it's just telling the universe, like, I'm going to be thankful for everything that you give me. So thank you for the blessings, basically. Okay, anything else? These are like little quick topics. Step away from the crazy making diet for a hot second. Kale and spirulina taste like booty. I think it's that green thing that has like all the vitamins or something. First of all, kale and spinach are bomb. Eat some chocolate and bacon. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm vegan, but I sometimes eat eggs, so vegetarian. I don't think this is technically, I mean, for some of you, it could be about the actual diet, but I think this is saying to allow yourself to have a moment of not being so strict. Some of you could be very strict on yourself, and sometimes it's okay to let up a little bit. But if you're like me, where sometimes if I let up a little bit, I let up a lot of it and I let it go. So I have to be very careful with how I kind of let loose and take a break. So, but yeah, being super strict sometimes can bring about a time of binging on your old behaviors or old ways. So be careful with that. This is what I think this is saying. He's just like... So this is it for the Rebel Deck. My sister's a tarot reader and she has 2 kids, right? And they go crazy in her readings. Like, this is nothing. This is like calm compared to her kids. But she controls, she still does it. Jump in. Yes. I was thinking that we would get this card earlier. Jump in. And draw, demean, energy, adventure. Say yes to change, completion, completing those cycles. Say yes to all the changes. Say yes to the changes happening now, because they're gonna lead you to like an entire different like timeline, a different universe. When you say yes to the unknown, when you say yes to the changes, look at this. Look at these beautiful colors. It's just like this whole different world that you thought was possible, but now you're going there. Now you're headed towards that direction, that world, that life that you've always wanted. Okay, so just make sure that you're saying yes to the changes. I'm gonna read up on this because I think this is important. Okay. Jump in. She's like jumping into the eye. I love this card. It's so beautiful. I wish I could get it tattooed on me, but that would be an extreme tattoo. My son picked this card. It's called, so yeah, some of you are being called to a healing path. Soul gifts and training, it's time to step up. So if you're thinking about doing some extra training, it literally says training. If you're thinking about doing something to where you're opening your knowledge about where you're wanting to do, you're being called to do that. Called to read up on what it is you're trying to do. Training, yeah, it's time to step up. So I'm gonna read into jump in. I'm feeding him, but I'm hiding it for some of you who might be offended. Okay, so jump in. Let's see. Andromeda is a spiral galaxy. Okay, I don't know that. The closest galaxy to the Milky Way. It's believed that the Andromedine starseeds are a group of beings who love their freedom. I am a part of that group because freedom is like, it's been my thing for the longest time. Very adaptable. They have a strong willingness and ability to change and go with the flow, to find calm in the chaos, to swim with the tides. This card is here to encourage you to do the same. So if things get too crazy for you, just realize that it's happening to teach you. It's happening because you're just going to be thrown into change. I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like some of you are just going to be thrown into these situations, this world with these people, and you're just going to be like, what the heck? But it's happening for your greater good, and I'm feeling excitement right now. I'm just feeling like excitement and happiness, and it's like this surge of just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. So go with whatever change is calling you to take place. Just go with it. Nothing happens for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. Whether you believe it or not, this life that we live in is perfectly orchestrated. So you just need to jump in whenever you're ready. It's like when you playing double dutch, and it's like you want to jump in, but you're looking for the perfect timing, so you can won't get caught up, or so your feet won't get caught on the rope. But it's like, just jump in. Yeah, it's okay. Perhaps you have a significant goal or opportunity ahead of you. If so, you're being guided to jump in. Don't wait for permission. A lot of the times, and I heard this first from Aaron Dowdy. He's someone that I really look up to and admire when it comes to things like this. He always talks about he always talks about how people wait and give themselves permission to be happy. Like, I can't be happy, or when I get this job, I'll be happy. When I make this amount of money, I'll be happy. When I get that house, I'll be happy. But you're supposed to give yourself permission to be happy now. You can't wait on some outer material thing, or it's any kind of outer anything, whether it's a person, a situation, or an object or status, to make you happy. You have to be happy within yourself. To truly be happy, it comes within. It comes from within. Okay, so don't stall until you feel ready. Take a deep breath, a good old run up, and jump right on it. Life bends on the courageous, and courageous is what you're being called to be. What you're being called to be. You're being called right now. You're being summoned. You're being summoned to just be free and be you, and do what you really want to do. He's falling asleep. He's annoying. He's annoying sometimes. It's like he makes this big scene and he just wants to sleep. It's like, just close your eyes. Like, I love my baby. He has his ways. Life bends for the courageous. Okay. You're already facing the right direction. The only thing left to do is leap. You'll figure out the details as you go along. For me, I like to know everything before it happens. I like to know the path. I like to know what time, when I'm gonna do something. Like, I need to know all the details, or I don't want to do it, because I'm anxious. I sometimes get anxiety, and I want to know what's gonna happen so I can prepare mentally. But it's like, do you really want to, like, I don't know, like, just jump into the unexpected? And do you want to always know what's happening all the time? Or would you rather, like, I feel like you kind of have to, like, accept surprises. Surprise, okay. You're already facing the right direction. The only thing you left to do is leap. You'll figure out the details as you go along. Things may not always be smooth sailing. Life on Earth rarely is. However, it's the rougher seas that teach us how to sail with glory. Let me say that again. It is the rougher seas that help us. What'd he say? Okay. It's the rougher seas that teach us to sail with glory. The rougher seas teach us to sail with glory, with faith, with trust in the universe. And once you know that, you can navigate any sea, any ocean, or any storm. Take the knowledge that you've learned from the mistakes, from the cycles that you are completing, from the healing. Take that, and you can navigate any sea or storm. That's a beautiful message. The androgen dance, I don't know how to say that word, want you to fall in love with surfing the waves of life, to seek more adventures, to embrace your own adaptability and find a way to be passive. Find a way to be calm in the chaos. You didn't come to Earth to be passive. You came to Earth to truly live. Now take a good run and leap, girlfriend. Okay, so that was that. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. You're winning. Okay. Let me see if anything for calls. I pretty much summed up called, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's a beautiful door. It's like, yeah. So it's like, this is the door. So, ooh, I see it now. You're being called to the door. This door, that's a portal for you to go into, like I was saying earlier about your highest, the highest way that you can live this life. You're being called to that door. It's gonna open up for you, and it's like, don't get scared. Jump in. These go hand in hand. It's like you're being called to the door. So that's where you are right now. You're being called to the door. You're at the door, and then you jump in. That's awesome. I just saw that. I was like, wait, what? Because it's like the cosmos and cosmos. It's like you're seeing the possibilities of what it could be. You're being called to it. And it's like, wait, do I jump? Do I not jump? You better jump. For those of you who don't actually jump, like physically. I mean, but maybe you're thinking about being a bungee jumper. I doubt that, but if you're going through something, don't actually jump, please. That's not what Spirit is telling you to do. Spirit is telling you to jump into this unknown of energy, this unknown of opportunities, the unknown, okay? Jump into the unknown, metaphorically. Okay. Your soul has many unique gifts that it came here to share. Some of you are already aware of what it is. Some of you are being called to what it is, to begin to uncover it. Okay, to remember that your soul intelligently chose the perfect conditions to carry out your soul's mission and share your soul's gifts. If you're being called towards a creative project, a passion, or adventure, or to change certain behaviors, or in certain cycles, in certain relationships, you're being called towards that. You're facing the right way, and that this moment right here is destined. If you're feeling underprepared or thinking, who am I to do that? This card is guiding you to take a step and leap, to jump, take the step. Just take the first step. Just do it. Just do it. Okay? All right. So that is all. I feel like this was a really great talk. I'm excited for you guys, because I feel like for a lot of you it's like the beginning. It's just the beginning. Like, you have no idea all the amazing things that are headed towards your way if you just trust. If you just trust and go with the flow, like the card was saying, go with the flow. Work on healing yourself. Make sure that you're healing yourself is very important. And once you start doing that, I feel like everything else is just gonna fall into line. So that was that. Thank you so much for coming to my tarot at the table talk. Flicking my imaginary hair. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.